In this video, I'm gonna show you how I made an underwater photo like this, completely using AI. Welcome back to the channel. This is the first video in a new series I would like to call That's Cool, but Can We Make It with AI? So the point of this series is to find cool concepts online and try to imitate them using the AI tools and the AI workflow that I have been using for my own photography. One of my biggest inspirations online when it comes to photography overall has been Peter McKinnon. Now, yesterday on the YouTube homepage, I got suggested one of his product photography videos where he takes underwater photos of cameras floating in a black background water tank environment. I really liked the aesthetic of the photos he took of the cameras on the black background in a water tank, and that got me thinking if I could emulate that style using AI instead of a water tank. Now, I got this image in my head of using my Sony camera without the lens, so the sensor is exposed, but placing that in an underwater environment would create quite the cool shot that would hopefully be quite attention grabbing, as it's quite unusual to see a camera underwater. Now, personally, I have a workflow where I use ChatGPT in combination with MidJourney in order to generate backgrounds that I can then use for my own photography. If you haven't seen my tutorial on this workflow, I recommend you check that out right here. Now, to generate similar pictures as the ones Peter McKinnon took in his studio with the black background and the water tank, I used ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas, and then after a couple of refinements in MidJourney, I came up with this result. Alright, now we have generated the AI photo, and now we're simply gonna take the photo of this Sony a6300 against this gray background over here, because I don't want to take a photo of the Sony against a black background because it might be hard to cut it out as it's black in color, and if you take it against a white background it might reflect on the surface of the camera as well. So we're just gonna try to take a simple photo of the Sony camera and then cut it out and place it into the AI background. Now, when you take your own photo, it's important that you try to match the lighting of the AI background. So here you can see me placing the light on the left upper side of the frame, trying to match the lighting as close as possible to the AI background. Now, I also tried to place the red straps of the camera in kind of a floating position in order to really sell that underwater floating effect. Now, jumping over to Lightroom here, I'm just gonna do a couple of tweaks to add some contrast and just bring out the textures of the camera a bit better. And I actually took 3 photos of the camera with different focus points in order to get a photo where the whole camera is in focus, both the sensor, the back and the front side of the camera. Then I'm gonna bring all the layers into Photoshop, and in Photoshop I'm gonna use this auto blend layers feature, which will blend all the focus points of all the 3 different photos to one in order to get that sharp focused all across the board photo that I was talking about. After that, we're simply gonna select around the subject, a rough selection. I like to do this because, in my opinion, Photoshop's selection tool has an easier job when you have done an initial rough selection of what you want Photoshop to cut out. Then we're simply gonna refine the selection, and at this point I'm still leaving the end of the tripod head at the bottom of the camera because we're gonna remove that with generative fill later. Now, one important part that I've noticed with this workflow is that if you work with a raw file in Photoshop, like I now did, I chose the edit in Photoshop option in Lightroom, then the colors might be kind of wonky when trying to put in that raw file into the AI background. So I suggest at this point that you export your product without the background as a PNG file, and then you put that into the AI background, because then both files are PNG and the colors will automatically match. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do when opening up our AI background in Photoshop is we're gonna use the super zoom feature in order to get some more resolution out of that photo. Then we're simply gonna remove the placeholder camera that we have in the AI background and bring in our own product. Now this is really where the magic happens. We're gonna use the harmonization feature in Photoshop. And as you can see, already by default, the colors are so much better and closer to the AI background. Like, look at this. This is the before and this is the after. It's subtle, but really important. Now we're simply gonna start to touch up the photo and remove the tripod head to start off with. And now I'm actually gonna start to add some bubbles around the camera. We're gonna try to really blend in those bubbles, also some in front of the camera, but as well on the sides and behind the camera, really to give that feeling that the camera has just sunken into that water and not only been photoshopped on top of the picture. Now, as a final step, I wanted to bring in the photo into Lightroom and remove some of that blue tint that was in the AI background, and also bring out the red color from the handle straps as well, in order to get that black and white but still contrasty feeling that Peter McKinnon had in his photo. I really want to continue this series, so if you have any suggestions of cool concepts or pictures you would like me to try to imitate with AI, please leave them in the comments below and I'll check them out. And as a final disclaimer, I also want to say I don't try to claim that you can just replace everything a photographer can do with AI nowadays. This is just a bit of fun trying out different concepts and see what I can do with the AI tools available. So don't take it too serious. I still think that the photos that Peter McKinnon produced in his studio with the real water tank looked a lot better than the result I was able to produce with the AI tool. But let me know what you think. This was a fun experiment and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.